As the royal family gathers at Sandringham for their cherished Christmas traditions, complete with candlelit carol services and time-honored customs, Harry and Meghan seem content to stay in the sunny comfort of Montecito. Far removed from the historic halls of Norfolk, their choice appears less about privacy, that elusive treasure they paradoxically publicized, and more like a deliberate statement. It feels almost orchestrated, as if Meghan, latte in hand, is ensuring their absence doesn't go unnoticed. The contrast is striking. While the royals embrace family bonds and tradition, the Sussexes remain in their Californian retreat, surrounded by a glossy lifestyle that, for all its allure, might lack the substance of what Harry left behind. As the festive season unfolds, one can't help but wonder if Harry feels the weight of what's been exchanged, the deep connections, the timeless rituals, and the sense of belonging traded for a polished but perhaps hollow existence. Does Harry ever glance across the table at Meghan, so deeply invested in maintaining her carefully crafted image, and realize he's exchanged genuine connection for superficial style, or is he too caught up in the narrative they've built together to see the reality? Christmas is usually a time for reflection, a chance to reconnect with family and embrace traditions that ground us. But for Harry and Meghan, it seems more like another chance to stage manage their lives, curating an image of joy and harmony that feels increasingly hollow. The world will undoubtedly watch, drawn in by the spectacle, because there's a certain fascination with a slow-moving disaster. Yet the longer this performance goes on, the more apparent it becomes that their version of a holiday celebration is little more than a polished facade. Picture it fake snow under California's warm sun, eco-friendly LED lights sparkling on a meticulously decorated tree, and an abundance of rehearsed holiday cheer. But beneath the surface, the cracks are hard to miss, missing the warmth, the sincerity, the authenticity that make Christmas truly special. And so, as we look at the so-called stars of the Sussex Christmas, it's hard not to wonder, who is this performance really for? For these children, Christmas seems to be little more than a staged photo opportunity. Perhaps Meghan dresses them in coordinated designer outfits, their angelic faces perfectly posed for a private photographer ready to capture these authentic moments. But behind the polished images, what remains? A cold, sterile environment missing the messy, heartfelt love that defines true family celebrations. And then there's Harry, once the cheeky, lovable prince, now a man seemingly stuck in perpetual adolescence. The mischievous charm he was once known for has been replaced by a supporting role in his wife's ongoing production of domestic perfection. Does he even see what he's lost? The camaraderie of his brother, the steadying presence of his father, and the irreplaceable warmth of a family that, despite its imperfections, gave him a true sense of belonging. Or has he, like Meghan surely has, convinced himself that a Christmas spent with a handful of sycophantic friends and a carefully controlled narrative is somehow better than the rich, imperfect traditions of his past? The traditions at Sandringham, a Christmas steeped in history, family, and meaning. In contrast, Harry and Meghan's version seems to revolve around whatever photographs best that year. Perhaps it includes a mindfulness session before unwrapping gifts, or a ceremoniously carved vegan turkey. But no matter how much effort goes into crafting a unique and meaningful day, it all feels hollow without genuine connections to people or traditions beyond their bubble. And then there's the guest list, or lack of one. For a couple that promotes love and unity, their Christmas gathering feels conspicuously empty of meaningful relationships. Where are the close friends, the community, or even the godparents who were kept anonymous during their children's christenings? The reality is that Harry and Meghan's world seems to be shrinking. No amount of forced cheer can mask the loneliness that comes from their self-imposed isolation. Even Doria, the ever-present plus one in their perfectly curated lives, must sense the weight of this charade. Behind the polished image lies a reality far removed from the rich, messy warmth that defines true holiday celebrations. How many more Christmases can Doria endure, pretending this is normal, pretending it's enough? The absence of family is perhaps the clearest indictment of all. While the royal family gathers at Sandringham, embracing traditions passed down through generations, Meghan's own family is glaringly absent. How can one reconcile a narrative of love and unity with the reality of so many fractured relationships? The contradiction is impossible to ignore. And then there are their principles, or lack thereof. For a couple who loudly advocate sustainability and mindfulness, their lifestyle tells a very different story. Private jets, sprawling mansions, and lavish displays of wealth hardly align with the values they claim to uphold. Even their Christmas, with its likely extravagant trappings, feels more like a showcase of performative activism than genuine celebration. What message does this send to their children? That appearances outweigh authenticity. That alienating loved ones is a fair trade for control over the narrative. The cognitive dissonance is staggering, and the longer it goes on, the more obvious the cracks become. In the end, Harry and Meghan's Montecito Christmas feels less like a celebration of the season and more like an exercise in relentless self-promotion. It's a meticulously crafted spectacle, a far cry from a genuine family holiday. For all their talk of authenticity, their lives seem to be a constant performance, with Christmas serving as just another act in their carefully scripted play. They may believe they're building a new legacy for themselves and their children, but the reality is far bleaker. Estranged from their families, distanced from old friends, and steadily fading from relevance on the world stage, they are left clinging to their curated image and the echo of their own narratives. Let's not pretend otherwise. Christmas in California for Harry and Meghan isn't about creating cherished memories or embracing the holiday spirit. It's about appearances. Everything, from the decorations to the menu, will likely be designed for maximum Instagram appeal, ensuring the performance continues. Those supposedly child-friendly touches? Let's be honest, when was the last time we saw anything in their lives that wasn't meticulously staged? Not for joy, but for optics, and so here they are in their gilded cage, celebrating a Christmas as hollow as their public statements. It begs the question, how long can they keep up this charade? How many more holidays can they endure in this endless performance? While they may attempt to sell their version of holiday cheer to the world, the truth is glaringly obvious. This isn't Christmas, it's another scripted scene in their relentless quest for relevance, and even that seems to be slipping away. Where to even begin with the spectacle that is the Sussex version of Christmas, or as it might be better called in their Montecito bubble, the Meghan Show Holiday Edition. The sheer audacity of their performative lives knows no bounds, and this festive season is just another example. Harry and Meghan, the self-proclaimed champions of compassion and authenticity, have once again transformed their lives into a PR spectacle, presenting a holiday that reeks of artificial cheer, hollow sentiment, and a glaring lack of genuine family connections. Let's start with the so-called family element of their Christmas. Meghan's sugary declarations about cherishing family time ring hollow when the only consistent non-Sussex adult in the picture is her mother, Doria. Meanwhile, Meghan's half-siblings and her father, cast aside like so many others who dared to disrupt her perfectly curated reality. And Harry. His estrangement from the royal family has turned the Sandringham traditions he once treasured into nothing more than distant memories. Imagine trading a seat at the grand family Christmas table for a makeshift holiday poolside gathering in California. What a downgrade. As for the children, Archie and Lilibet, they are predictably paraded as the stars of this production. A holiday focused on appearances rather than authenticity, with their young faces serving as props in yet another act of the Sussex Puerto Rico machine. Let's be honest, their children's presence in this narrative feels more symbolic than genuine. Are Archie and Lilibet truly experiencing the magic of Christmas, or are they simply props in Meghan's never-ending quest for validation? Gone are the simple joys of playing with cousins, replaced by a carefully orchestrated, photo-ready holiday meant to rack up Instagram likes while avoiding anything resembling heartfelt emotion. And then there's Harry, the eternal man-child, whose evolution from a charming, mischievous prince to Meghan's supporting act is undeniably tragic. One can only wonder about the inner turmoil he must feel, trying to reconcile his cherished memories of Sandringham filled with tradition, family, and warmth with his current reality. A hollow celebration in Montecito, where royal customs have been swapped for vegan dishes and mindfulness exercises. Harry's shift from a relatable royal to a shadow of his former self underlines just how far he has strayed from his roots. It's a transformation that feels as hollow as the holiday celebration they now call Christmas. Instead of pranking his cousins or sharing laughs with his brother, Harry now plays the role of the devoted dad in Meghan's meticulously curated narrative. The glaring hypocrisy of it all is hard to ignore. Harry and Meghan, who loudly advocate for sustainability and simplicity, are celebrating Christmas in a sprawling mansion, a symbol of excess. Private jets, extravagant decorations, and an opulent lifestyle that is anything but modest are all part of their reality. It's emblematic of the Sussex brand, which seems to prioritize appearances over authenticity. The disconnect between their words and actions is staggering, and Christmas serves as the perfect example. For all their talk of compassion and unity, their lives seem marked by estrangement, conflict, and an insatiable need for validation. And what about the supposed friends invited to these holiday gatherings? It's hard to imagine anyone outside their tightly controlled inner circle of loyal supporters willingly enduring such a charade. The celebration feels less like a gathering of loved ones and more like another chapter in their ongoing performance. Meghan and Harry's world has become more insular by the day, with fewer and fewer people willing to tolerate their constant grievances and self promotion. Their inability to maintain meaningful relationships, whether with family, friends, or even their own staff, says a lot about the toxicity of their environment. Christmas, a time traditionally focused on connection and togetherness, only highlights the loneliness of their self imposed isolation. The lack of tradition is another glaring absence in their Montecito Christmas, their own version of the holiday. But what does that even look like? A mindfulness circle before opening gifts, a lecture on sustainability over dinner, or perhaps a few rehearsed expressions of holiday cheer? Of course, the PR machine is working overtime to spin their Montecito Christmas as a heartwarming tale of love and family. But no matter how carefully crafted the narrative, it can't mask the truth. The Sussex holiday is a spectacle designed to distract from their growing estrangement, contradictions, and irrelevance. The staged photos of their holiday, with Montecito bathed in sunshine, highlight the absence of real holiday chaos, no mismatched ornaments, no toddlers joyfully tangled in tinsel, just a polished scene meant for show. This is Meghan's world, where even chaos is carefully sanitized to fit the brand. The gifts will no doubt be wrapped in artisanal, eco-friendly paper with handwritten tags and elegant calligraphy. But will they be opened by small, messy hands, or will those perfectly coordinated presents remain untouched, their only purpose fulfilled in a single Instagram story before being whisked away out of view? And what about the children? Archie and Lilibet are supposedly the heart of their Christmas celebrations, but for all their talk about creating a magical holiday for their kids, it's hard to picture a less joyful environment. Instead of the lively chaos and laughter of a large family gathering, these children are likely experiencing a sterile, performative version of Christmas more about optics than genuine happiness. The absence of cousins, grandparents, and extended family only underscores the isolation that defines their lives. While the royal family's Christmas is rooted in tradition and genuine connection, the Sussex's version feels like a hollow imitation devoid of the warmth, authenticity, and joy that truly define the season. Yet their lifestyle is anything but modest. They claim to champion authenticity, but their actions only serve to highlight the contradictions in their narrative. In the end, the Sussex's Christmas is less about the true spirit of the season and more about maintaining their brand. It's a hollow spectacle that emphasizes the loneliness, contradictions, and performative nature of their lives. While the royal family gathers at Sandringham, continuing traditions that have lasted generations, Harry and Meghan are left to celebrate in their Montecito bubble, isolated from the world they once knew. No amount of carefully staged photos or glowing media coverage can hide the truth. This isn't Christmas, it's just another scene in the ongoing drama that is the Sussex's life. Now let's dive into Meghan's ghost kid story. Brace yourselves because the truth bomb just dropped and it's a big one. Archbishop Justin Welby, a man who spent decades playing the mild-mannered figurehead of the Church of England, has suddenly stepped into the ring and, well, he's burning it all down. His recent bombshell is so jaw-dropping, it's almost hard to believe. Did anyone really buy the Sussex's story for even a second? Well, here's the shocker. Archbishop Justin Welby is now questioning whether Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, that supposedly adorable little boy paraded around like the crown jewel of Harry and Meghan, is even real. You'd think he'd be too busy blessing marriages and kissing babies to publicly challenge Meghan and Harry's last shred of credibility. But instead, he's calling out the Emperor's new clothes for what they really are, an elaborate manipulative charade. He's admitted he's been silent for too long, but now he says it's time for the truth to come out. Well, Archbishop, it's about time. We've all been fed the same tired fairy tale about Archie since his so-called birth in 2019, and honestly, we're starting to wonder if we've all been played for fools. Let's rewind for a second. The Sussexes have made a career out of playing the media and the public like puppets, carefully orchestrating every move in their supposedly private lives for maximum PR impact. But then there's Archie, the supposed miracle baby, whose birth was shrouded in more secrecy than even the Queen's coronation. Why the sudden blackout on any details about this child? No photos, no birth information, just a conveniently timed announcement followed by months of silence. And now, of all people, Archbishop Welby is blowing the whistle. Suddenly, it feels like the entire story is just another extension of the Sussexes' manipulative PR machine carefully crafted to build their image as the disruptors of royal life and the victims. Sure, let's pretend this isn't a well thought out, calculated move to elevate Meghan and Harry into the royal martyrdom they've been craving. Let's ignore the constant press leaks, the lavish lifestyle, and the never ending sob stories that always seem to end in a neatly packaged interview with Oprah. We can keep painting Meghan as the misunderstood saint she's desperate to be, but no matter how many times the lie is repeated, it won't make it true. The reality is, Meghan has been more than happy to create her own narrative, manipulating every tear and every heartfelt moment to keep the public invested in her story of being the poor, misunderstood victim of the royal family. Newsflash, is getting old. Speaking of the kids, Archie and Lilibet, the supposed heart of this perfect Christmas image, does anyone actually believe the story they're selling, especially when they're so vocal about their devotion to privacy? Harry and Meghan seem oddly selective in showcasing their children, giving us only glimpses and carefully curated snippets to maintain the illusion of a happy family. But where's the spontaneity? The candid joy? Oh, right, it doesn't exist in their tightly controlled narrative. What we're left with is the feeling that these children are nothing more than props in Meghan's grand scheme. For once, someone in a position of power is standing up and saying, "Enough with the smoke and mirrors, thank you, Archbishop Welby, for having the courage to question the reality of Archie's existence." Let's not forget that this isn't the first time doubts have circled about the legitimacy of this child's birth. There have been endless conspiracy theories, but until now, they've mostly been dismissed by the mainstream media. But now? Welby's shaking the tree, and those whispers are starting to sound more like a growing chorus of doubt. Think about it, why all the secrecy? Why the media blackout? Why the forced smiles in public like they're playing the role of perfect parents? While the world is expected to pretend everything is fine, Welby's comments are casting a shadow over the entire narrative. These comments are casting doubt on every carefully crafted image the Sussexes have built with the press. Or is it just another chapter in their ongoing drama to remain the center of attention? Who's writing the script, and why is it that every time they're caught in a lie, the story somehow becomes even more dramatic? The idea that Archie might not exist in the way we've been led to believe is far from a small detail. It's a scandal that could unravel the entire house of cards the Sussexes have worked so hard to build. Imagine the headlines if it turns out that the child we've been told was born on May 6, 2019, is nothing more than the result of a well-timed PR stunt. What's left of Meghan's carefully cultivated image is now dragged into the mud with them. It's a reputation-destroying mess, and now Welby is throwing even more fuel onto the fire. If this keeps going, we could be witnessing the collapse of the House of Sussex, brought down not by their constant drama, but by their own lies. But here's the thing that really stands out: when Meghan stays silent in response to this new revelation, it will speak volumes. She knows this truth is dangerous, and if she thinks it'll all blow over, she's wrong. The world isn't buying her act anymore. People are tired of the charade, tired of the endless crocodile tears and the poor me stories. If Archie really is the product of a fabricated reality, this could be the final blow to their royal facade under a magnifying glass. The truth is coming out, and it's not going to be pretty for the Sussexes. If there's one thing we know about Meghan Markle, it's that she's no stranger to playing the victim. But with the Archbishop's explosive revelations, it seems Meghan's very victimhood is now under scrutiny. In a shocking twist, this isn't just about her strained relationship with the royals or her supposed mental health struggles. No, this time the stakes are higher. The narrative surrounding Archie's birth and possibly the very existence of the child has been thrust into the unforgiving spotlight of truth. Remember when Meghan first introduced Archie to the world in 2019, barely a few days old, with an image crafted to be a perfect PR moment? We were all supposed to swoon over this new addition to the Sussex family, basking in the glow of their fairy tale royal love story. But now the cracks are starting to show, and what was once a perfect image of motherhood is beginning to unravel. It's hardly a secret that Meghan's carefully curated public image has always been part of her larger narrative and accessory to enhance her story of motherhood and family values. What better way to uphold the image of a flawless family than by showcasing an adorable yet highly private child to the public? Now, with Welby's recent statement, the facade is beginning to crumble, revealing something undeniably suspicious about Archie's existence. For years, Meghan has carefully woven a narrative filled with half-truths. Yet whenever anyone dares to challenge her version of events, she retreats behind a wall of silence. This time, however, there's no escape. The Archbishop, known for his rare commitment to honesty, is bringing the truth to light. And let's face it, Meghan's world starts to unravel when her carefully crafted story falls apart. This isn't just about her private life anymore, it's about whether she has deceived the world about her own son. This isn't a minor controversy, it's a major crisis for the image she has spent years constructing. Then there's Harry, seemingly stuck in a perpetual state of confusion. Even during Christmas, he likely feels like a side character in his own home. While the royal family enjoys hearty meals and cherished traditions, Harry might be trying to recreate the magic of his childhood holidays only to have those memories replaced with Meghan's modern twists. A pool party to burn off the holiday feast? That's the big tradition Harry seems to be holding on to. What's next? Swapping Christmas carols for a Spotify playlist curated by Meghan, filled with empowering anthems and overly polished folk-inspired songs. Now let's take a step back and revisit how the whole Archie saga unfolded, or rather, how it didn't. From the beginning, Meghan and Harry insisted on protecting Archie's privacy, keeping him hidden like a mythical creature too special to be seen. Fair enough, privacy is a valid choice, but isn't it curious how this fierce commitment to privacy went hand in hand with a very public campaign to present themselves as relatable, ordinary people? The contradiction speaks volumes. They've signed book deals, delivered speeches, and starred in Netflix documentaries, all while keeping Archie tucked away in the background more like a prop in their ongoing feud with the royal family and the press. But here's the irony: if privacy was their ultimate goal, why turn Archie into the symbol of their crusade for self-righteousness? The truth is, when you spend so much time painting yourself as victims complaining about the hardships of royal life, the oppressive spotlight, and the endless criticism, it starts to reek of desperation. The media frenzy around their lives, it's entirely of their own making. Whenever Meghan or Harry appear at an event, no one seems to focus on their causes or humanitarian work, not that it feels like a priority to them anyway. Instead, the burning question is always the same: where is Archie? What's the story behind this elusive child? Why does Archie feel more like a figment of their imagination than a real, living child? The boy who was meant to redefine their lives increasingly resembles a hollow symbol, a tool for their carefully crafted image of martyrdom. But here's the most unsettling part. Meghan, the self-proclaimed advocate for the voiceless, now seems to be evading growing questions about her child's legitimacy. The silence is deafening. Sure, her PR team occasionally releases generic statements about the importance of family. That's all well and good, but when your family appears to be built on shaky truths and exists to further your own agenda, how seriously can anyone take those claims? It's starting to seem as if their narrative of family is nothing more than a facade, and now the royal family isn't the villain of the story anymore, it's the story itself that's crumbling. It's Meghan herself at the center of it all. Let's dive into the conspiracy, because this story practically invites speculation. The lack of photos, the constant secrecy, the cryptic comments, this isn't just about maintaining privacy. It's about control, and what better way to stay in control than by keeping everyone guessing? Archie has become the ultimate enigma, a symbol of a life that's carefully curated but never fully revealed. Meghan, who never misses an opportunity to broadcast her struggles, wants the world to believe a narrative that crumbles under even the slightest scrutiny. As more questions arise, Meghan and Harry retreat further into silence, hoping their crafted image will shield the truth from ever surfacing. The timing of Welby's remarks couldn't be more fitting. With his calm yet firm insistence that the truth must be revealed, the Archbishop's words cut through the haze like a sharp blade, exposing the cracks in their story for all to see. Meghan has worked tirelessly to build her narrative, but the question is no longer just about Archie's existence. It's about the entire story she's been telling. Are people still buying it? With each passing day, the answer seems clearer: no, they're not. More and more, people are starting to wonder, what if Archie isn't just hidden from the media but fabricated altogether? And if he is real, why all the drama surrounding his birth? Why the layers of secrecy? Why the constant emphasis on privacy? It's all starting to fall apart, unraveling like a poorly written soap opera, and the audience is no longer content to sit back and watch. If this house of cards collapses, the fallout will be immense. Meghan's carefully crafted image as a global icon is at stake. She's positioned herself as the author of her own story, But the trouble with being the storyteller is that eventually people start questioning the plot. Once the truth begins to surface, it's only a matter of time before the entire narrative collapses. Archie, the unseen child, might be the final crack in a long line of carefully constructed but increasingly fragile lies. If Meghan thought she could keep playing the victim card every time her story was challenged, she's about to face a hard lesson in accountability. The world is no longer turning a blind eye. With Archbishop Justin Welby's startling remarks about Archie's existence, the polished image of a perfect family is starting to crumble, and it's impossible to ignore. For years, Meghan and Harry have worked relentlessly to position themselves as victims, the underdogs of the royal family, fighting against the oppressive media, unkind royals, and the pressures of public life. But now the foundation of their entire story is under scrutiny. What happens when the very narrative they've relied on to gain sympathy and support starts to fall apart? When the truth starts seeping into the polished fairy tale they've been spinning, the facade doesn't just crack, it crumbles. And things get messy fast. Let's talk about Archie, the child we hear about but barely see. Remember when Meghan and Harry introduced him to the world in 2019? It was a meticulously staged PR moment designed to scream, "Look how adorable and perfect we are." But there was a glaring issue. Where was the child? Sure, Archie was technically there, but you'd be forgiven for thinking he was more myth than reality. Rarely seen in public, wrapped in layers of privacy that only seemed to invite more questions. Now, with Archbishop Welby's recent comments, those questions aren't just whispers anymore, they're front and center in this Montecito melodrama. While the royal family gathers over shared traditions and deep bonds, Meghan and Harry's celebrations appear to revolve around keeping Doria in the spotlight. It's less about family unity and more about maintaining the narrative, no matter how shaky it becomes. There's nothing wrong with including a parent, but the way Doria is consistently showcased as a central figure in their story feels like overcompensation. Could Meghan's strained relationships with her own father and extended family leave her clinging to the one bond that bolsters her carefully curated image? Let's be honest, Meghan and Harry have built their brand on being relatable. They claim to despise the media, insist that privacy is their top priority, and yet they've turned their lives into a never-ending media event. When it suited their narrative of being a normal family, Archie was brought into the spotlight not as a visible child, but as a carefully hidden piece of their PR strategy. Their refusal to share even basic glimpses of authenticity has worn thin. Enter Archbishop Welby, the one figure who has remained diplomatic and restrained until now. His decision to intervene has thrown a wrench into their carefully controlled narrative. With his calm assertion that the truth must come to light, his words are reverberating across the media, threatening to dismantle the facade piece by piece. So what's the truth? Is Archie real, or is he just another piece in Meghan and Harry's manufactured narrative? That's the question on everyone's mind. Archbishop Welby's rare decision to break his silence is a direct challenge to the story Meghan and Harry have carefully controlled for years. Until now, they've held the reins, dictating every detail of their narrative, but suddenly the truth is slipping out of their grasp and they can't stop it. And let's not kid ourselves, Meghan isn't going to handle this well. She spent years crafting the image of perfect motherhood, only to realize it could unravel with a single question. But here's the bigger issue: if Archie does exist, why are we still so in the dark about him? Why does it feel like he's been relegated to a mere background character in Meghan and Harry's never-ending media spectacle? Instead of being a cherished part of their family, Archie seems more like a tool in their PR playbook, a mystery that raises more questions than answers. Don't be fooled. Every time they found themselves in a PR mess, Meghan and Harry have pulled out the "we need privacy for our child" card. But let's be honest, when they're the ones leaking details of their lives to every magazine and news outlet that'll print their sob stories, they've lost any right to complain about privacy. Once you start selling your life to the media, you can't be surprised when the questions start piling up. And now those questions are getting louder and more direct. Is Archie real, or is he just another part of the narrative to make Meghan and Harry look like they're living the kind of life we should all envy? The most absurd part of all of this is how Meghan and Harry have been playing the media like a well-tuned instrument, convincing everyone that their version of events is the only one that matters. Their silence, their avoidance, and their "we're just like you" narrative are starting to unravel. They wanted to control the story, but they forgot one important thing: people aren't as naive as they think. The more they play the victim, the more their story begins to fall apart. Archie may have been a pawn in their game to manipulate the media, control public perception, and paint themselves as the ultimate underdogs. But now the game is changing. They can no longer hide behind their carefully crafted image of the perfect family. With Archbishop Welby's statement, the cracks are becoming visible, and people are starting to ask, what exactly are they hiding? As the Sussexes continue to retreat into their narrative of being just normal people who want privacy, the truth is becoming undeniable. They've hidden behind a wall of secrecy for so long they've forgotten what honesty looks like. When you spend so much time playing the victim, claiming the moral high ground, and controlling the narrative, eventually the truth catches up with you. And when that truth comes out, whether it's about Archie, their motives, or the legitimacy of their entire story, it's going to be messy. Meghan and Harry have built their empire on lies and manipulation, and it's only a matter of time before the public sees them for what they really are: two people playing a dangerous game that's about to backfire. As the questions surrounding Archie's existence continue to grow, don't be shocked if Meghan and Harry find themselves trapped in a web they can't escape. The victims are no longer the ones we feel sorry for. They may soon have to answer for all the lies they've told, and when that moment arrives, it will be a reckoning for the Sussexes, because in the end, the truth always comes to light no matter how hard you try to bury it. The irony of it all is almost too much. Harry, who once celebrated Christmas in the grandeur of Sandringham, now finds himself hosting a pale imitation of the holiday in Santa Barbara. Meanwhile, Meghan, who has cast herself as the ultimate homemaker and family-focused matriarch, seems far more concerned with protecting her reputation as the quintessential California mom than with anything truly family-oriented. The result is a hollow spectacle, lacking the warmth and authenticity that truly define the holiday season. And there you have it, folks. The mystery surrounding Archie, along with the whirlwind of revelations from Archbishop Justin Welby, has left us with more questions than answers. Is this the beginning of the end for Meghan and Harry's carefully crafted royal distraction? Drop your theories and opinions in the comments below. No theory is too wild in this royal rabbit hole. If you enjoyed this deep dive into royal chaos, don't forget to hit that like button to show your support. Subscribe to our channel for more sharp takes and juicy updates on all things royal and celebrity. And be sure to click the notification bell so you never miss our latest uploads. Trust us, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers! Back in the UK, the royal family will no doubt be raising a toast in their grand dining room, sharing stories, laughter, and a sense of unity, something Meghan and Harry seem to be missing these days.